Roy. Hi, culinary members. So good to have all of y'all come watch me make my mother's gumbo. When I was a kid, my mother, who we called affectionately RoRo, made gumbo at our restaurant, the B&L restaurant. So I got to watch her. She did not know how to make gumbo for less than 16 people. So today we're doing a recipe for 16. This is the recipe, which will be sent to you. And I'm going to go over every ingredient and a few tips before I even start making it. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at here is I bought a couple of ingredients for today. Since I bought them today, my daddy always told me, put the date, 21, on it. That way, today I was looking through and here I have 1/17/12. I need to throw that nutmeg away. It's a little bit old, okay? It's a good idea to mark your stuff so it will be something you can use later on. So what we're going to do first is I always take a clean towel, put it in my apron. The only thing that will touch this towel will be clean hands. When I wash my hands, I will dry them on the towel. If my hands are dirty and I want to wipe them, I'll wipe them on my apron, okay? But if they're clean, they touch the clean towel. Okay, let's start with some of the ingredients. My mother said we need a large pot. I love these heavy pots. You can use a good stainless pot with a copper bottom, any kind of pot really that's heavy. You don't want a thin bottom because it will burn the ingredients. White flour. Do not use self-rising. We could have some kind of a disaster when we make our roux. Vegetable oil. Today this just says vegetable oil. You can use canola oil. I've never done it with olive oil though. This is for our roux and to cook down the vegetables. Chicken broth. I went ahead and just bought a box of it. I really like this better than broth. Can you see that?
Oh, I can see that.
You take a spoon of it and put it in a cup, and I put this in everything, and this will make you some chicken broth without having to buy this big old box. So that's better than broth. Kitchen bouquet. I don't know if this is a Louisiana thing or what, but if your roux is not dark enough and you want your gumbo to be brown, this seems to give it a little bit better flavor, so I bought that for today. I'll have to label the date. Tomato sauce. She says 12 ounces. This is 15. I will put most of it in. This is not on her recipe. It's Tony Chachere's, my favorite ingredient in everything. I season steaks with it. I put it in my red beans and rice if you came to that last year. This goes on virtually all vegetables. Best seasoning in the world. And you can buy this at Publix, okay? Water, well, we have that easy. She says on here 2 cups of plain flour and 1 cup of oil. I do a 1-1 combination to make my roux. This is roux, by the way. Roux is oil and flour. See how thick that is? That is your thickening agent and your coloring agent for the gumbo. Now, I'm going to make another roux today because I think it would be good for you to see how it's done. I'm going to do it in the microwave. It's fast, it's easy. There's 3 ways to do roux. If you're watching your cholesterol and don't want all this oil, go online and say, how do I make floured roux with no oil? It will show you. You put it in the oven at a certain temperature and you can actually just brown the flour with no oil. The other way to make it is on the stove in a cast iron pot. You take the cast iron pot, you put your oil and all, but you stand over it for 30-40 minutes till it becomes the right color. You're sweating. It's really a lot of work. I prefer the microwave. Okay. Then she says we need onions, 3 medium. I hate cutting up onions. I got 2 bags, chopped onions, and I will throw that in. Next thing is celery. She says 3 to 4 bunch. I don't know what she meant, but this is about the right amount of celery. Okay, or less. Large bell pepper. This was a large bell pepper. I'm very lucky my husband cut this up for me this morning. That's my least favorite thing to do. Cut frozen okra. This is cut frozen okra. She said 20 ounces. This is 15. I'm going to use 15. I don't do everything by the book because one time I put 30 ounces of okra and it was a little too much okra. So we don't want to do that. So let's see what else. Okay, now that we've got the vegetables, we have the meat. I'm making 2 types of gumbo. I'm going to make my base stock. This is a chicken I bought yesterday at Publix and just pulled all the chicken off of and took the skin away and pulled it off the bone. So I have the chicken and I have the sausage, which I'll cut up. So it's going to be a chicken sausage gumbo. Then I'm going to have the shrimp gumbo. So I'll make my base stock. I bought this at Publix. They were on sale for 10 bucks. It's a really good deal. They're from Indonesia. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I know China's bad. So I got Indonesian shrimp. We'll see. Okay, so these are the other little ingredients. She has a little bit of oregano, a little bit of basil, the 2 I just bought. She uses the granulated garlic, and I wanted to show you something I love. I don't want you to really see what this looks like, and here is the mess. They have garlic in a tube. Ah, here it is. I use this a lot. You can make fettuccine Alfredo, any of those things with garlic in a tube. It just squeezes out. I put this in my beans, if you saw that show. And they also have tomato sauce. If you only need a little bit of tomato sauce, get it in a tube. You won't have to keep opening the cans. It's kind of like a paste, but this is a sauce. Okay, so now we have bay leaf. This is bay leaf. Bay leaf comes from a bay tree. I had one in my yard in Texas. You take it off, you dry it, and there's your bay leaf. Filet is the most important ingredient because I'm making gumbo filet. And filet is ground sassafras leaves. And you have sassafras trees growing in Louisiana. You can buy this at most stores. I went there to Publix yesterday. They did not have it. This one expired at the end of last year, and that's fine. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it won't have as much flavor. I might add just a little extra. Okay, so I think those are all of my ingredients. Then we're going to serve it over rice. The reason they did gumbo back in the olden days, it was a very inexpensive meal because they could grow celery or buy celery. Celery wasn't expensive. Bell peppers grow great in the South. Chicken, cut its head off and eat it. Roux, flour and oil, cheap. Shrimp, right off the boat dock next to your house, cheap. Onions, they could grow the onions. All of this would be practically free. But today, we have to buy the shrimp, buy the chicken, you know, do everything ourselves, so it becomes an expensive meal. Okay, first thing we're going to do, I think it'd be fun, we'll start with the roux. While the roux is starting to cook, I'm going to go ahead and take off and start doing the vegetables and stuff. So for the roux, we're going to have a 1-to-1 ratio. 1 cup flour, 1 cup water. 1 cup oil. See these? Love wooden spoons when we're dealing with all this hot stuff. Okay, so this is a 1 cup measure right here. Remember, do not use self-rising flour because it may just start to swell up. Let's see where we are. It's an equal amount, so whatever you put in here, it's just about 8 ounces. I never clean my floors till after I cook because I usually make quite a mess. Okay, here's your 8 ounces. I'd rather have a little more oil than flour if I have to. Okay. Now, if I put that in like that, we would get burned pieces of flour. So you can use a whisk. Usually just take a fork. Kind of stir it. Remember, this is going to become this. So I stir it, try to flatten out as much of this stuff. After it gets hot, you can really dissolve all that flour in there. And it's kind of a burned, not burned, but a nice roasted flour taste that comes out of having the roux. You've probably heard about roux because it's used in crawfish etouffee, it's used in gumbo. I will take a spoon or 2 and stick it in my red beans and rice.
You're making me hungry.
Shrimp. Well, you're going to get a sample of this after we're done. And after we're all done, I'm going to have a bowl of this all cooked up for you. I'm going to cook the rice in my little quickie rice cooker, which I use all the time. See, you can see most of the lumps are out. But when I cook it, they still have some pieces in there. When I cook it, it'll be hot, and I can kind of do this again. So you don't just put it in. You have to put it in for 3 minutes, take it out, stir. Then you do it another minute, take it out, stir. Then up until about 8 or 9 minutes, you have to keep taking it out every 30 seconds. So what I do is put it in my microwave. We're going to put it on high. This is my little espresso. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 3 minutes on high. Just let that go. While that's going, I want to cook my okra down. So I'm going to put this, some oil in this pot. I'm going to turn up the heat pretty high. Maybe put it like at high, bottom part of high. Now, where's my dog? My dog loves okra. I'm going to give him a little piece. Deke, you want some okra, sweetie? Come here. Mom's going to open the okra.
I have never seen a dog eat okra. Never.
Let's see. Watch it make a liar out of it.
Our dog used to like carrots.
Oh, he hates carrots. Look at Deke. He wants some more. Here. He loves it. Come on, one more piece. You get one more piece. Come here. He loves his okra. This is a southern dog, Roy. Come here, Deke. You're stepping on a piece. Come here. But he went through a quarter of a bag one time. So here I have 15 ounces. There's my oil. I'm going to put it in. Now, my mother says on the recipe, you take the bell pepper, the onion, all of it, and cook it at once. I was with her once, and I watched her cook. She cooks the okra first to get some of the slime out. Okra can be really slimy. So we stir it, and you'll see the slime will come up. And if you cook it down enough, and then add the onions, the bell pepper, and the celery, then you won't have as much slime in your gumbo. See how pretty and green that is? There's no need to buy fresh okra. That's another thing that they grew, okra. So basically it was almost a free dish if they did shrimp. So while that's cooking, I'm going to cut sausage. And for the sausage chicken gumbo, I'm going to cook down my sausage in this pot. When I have my whole base here, I will put half of it into here to have this gumbo, and then the shrimp will go into that one. So we have chicken sausage gumbo, which is very similar to turkey filet, leftover turkey after Thanksgiving, and we'll have this side with the shrimp. Now, I just put the sausage in. I'm cooking it down in one pan. In this one, I have the onions, okra, which I stirred for about 5 minutes, and then I put okra, onion, and celery in here. This is going to take about 15 minutes of stirring and cooking down. We don't just do it till the onions are clear. We want to actually cook it down some. And I'm going to take half of everything we have in here at the end with the juice and the liquids and the gumbo. Put it in here and do the sausage chicken gumbo, and then we'll put the shrimp in here. So we'll have 2 different types of gumbo. Okay?
Anytime you like.
Okay, come see this, Roy. We cook this down. You can see it doesn't look exactly like it did. It's been about 20 minutes. I'm noticing, see that the bottom is starting to burn a little bit. I turned the fire down, but I'm just about done with this. What I'm
Okay, so that's like a vegetable stew now. It's got
this is the trilogy plus okra.
Okay.
And then this, I put chicken in there, and we're going to put the gumbo on top of that.
Okay, so that's the chicken and sausage, and that's
chicken and sausage.
That's not cooking.
No, it's just sitting there. I had already done that. Now I'm getting ready to put the liquid ingredients. Here comes the chicken broth. This is 32 ounces, which it calls for 30 ounces, so this will be perfect. Now I'm going to stir that. Then they want me to put in the tomato sauce, and this is 15, so I won't put all of it. I never buy those electric can openers. They get gook in them. This I can put in the dishwasher and make sure it's clean. So what it's going to do is tell me I cannot use it. It's broken. I put it in the dishwasher. There. So I'll use most of this. Then she says to add 6 cans of water to this. So I'm going to put this minus a little bit. Okay, and add water. That's That's 1 can. I'll put more cans, but before I do that, see, I'm wiping my hands here. I'm going to go ahead and do all the other things she said. She says salt, 5½ teaspoons of salt. So I'm going to get my measuring. Take my little 1 teaspoon and do 5½. What I do though is basically I taste it at the end to know if it's right. So I'd rather have too little. 1, 2, that's good. Okay. So then I'll taste it to see, because I'm going to put chartreuse later. So she said put salt, the granulated garlic, 2 teaspoons. One, 2, and then I like the real garlic, so I'm going to put a little bit of that. I don't think you can put too much garlic.
Not according to me.
No. So then she says put 1 teaspoon of the sweet leaf basil. That's oregano. Okay. 1 teaspoon. You can use you don't have to use dry basil. You can use the real thing. So I'll put a little bit of that. Oregano, she doesn't put that much, just a little bit of oregano. I don't even know why we put it in there. Okay? They don't mention parsley. Won't hurt. You want to put the parsley. Cayenne pepper, that's where I put the chartreuse.
Oh, yeah.
It has salt and pepper. So you can see it's kind of red. So what we'll do, we'll stir this. I'll put more water. Then I'm going to cook it down for about 50 minutes. And
Okay.
I'm adding the last roux, which is a little bit lighter than the other one, but I'm putting Cajun bouquet. So I'm adding this after having cooked this about 50 minutes. And this is going to thicken up my gumbo and give it that roux flavor. Now as you see, it's not dark brown. If I used the other roux, it would be darker. But that's why we have Cajun bouquet. This is going to make it dark. Ready?
Ready.
See it start to change?
Oh my goodness.
And this is more of the color I want my gumbo to be. Now I'm going to let this cook a while so it can just start thickening up on me without burning. But you have to make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. And once I get it to where I like it, I'll put half of that in there, and then I'll add the shrimp to this recipe.
So you're going
But
to...
as you can see, I have this. Look at the color of that. It's too thin right now, and that's why we're cooking it longer.
Oh,
to let the roux thicken it up. Now, filet thickens it up too, but nothing like the roux. And if I wanted, I could even put a little bit more roux out of this to give it a little bit more flavor. Look at that.
Now that's the first roux you made, right?
That's the first roux I
little
made.
bit darker.
In fact, I'm going to send home some of that roux with you.
Oh,
Roux can
boy.
last for a year if you put it in a jar and cover it.
I knew this was a good idea, filming you.
Get to take home some little extra.
Oh, yeah.
But you can see it's starting to get thicker, a little bit at a time. You just have to be patient. You have to love on it. You have to just stir and enjoy. But anyway, when it's the right thickness, I will add my filet. And that'll give it the last flavor. Then I'm going to taste test it. If it needs salt, chartreuse, that's kind of in your head to know what it needs, what you like. Might need more filet, you know. Yeah, I'm going to just move half the gumbo over. You know, if I can pull half the gumbo over, I'm going to... Oh, look at all those good vegetables.
Oh, boy.
It's still not thick enough, but I think if I move it over, I can kind of decide what to do. There's a lot of vegetables in there. The color's right, everything's right, it's just not thick enough yet, but the filet's going to... Here's your filet. And like I said, some people put it on the table and let people add the filet as they, you know, the ground sassafras leaves. Let me see. Yeah. A little more. And if it needs anything, it's probably going to need this, chartreuse. Chachere's goes in everything. I can't tell you how much I love Chachere's, Tony Chachere's. Okay, so this is just about ready. When the shrimp are ready, I will give Roy a bowl of each. And see what he...
First of all, take a look at that. This is how it's served. Is that gorgeous right there? Oh my goodness. Come on, you.
No, Deke. I know there's okra in there.
Oh my God.
Is it good?
You know, I tried making gumbo once. I think I told you. I don't even know what to say about this. This is exactly what gumbo should taste like. Not my gumbo. This is wonderful.
Yeah, that's the chicken sausage, and I think they call it like gumbo ya something. It's not called the same as the other.
And it's got just the right amount of heat in it.
Okay. Now try the seafood. Try the shrimp.
Barbara's gonna be angry at me. I'm not gonna have dinner tonight.
You could bring her some.
Ooh.
Different taste, right? Oyster juice would make it perfect, but I don't have any, but it's good.
The shrimp, yeah. You can really taste the shrimp, which is wonderful. And it does, it gives it a whole different flavor. Now you use the same base with the vegetables and the stock and the spices and the roux. You use that for both of these. So the only thing that's really different is the meat that you put in. And here is the shrimp, and over here is the sausage and the chicken.
And I cooked down the sausage to give it a little bit of flavor. Totally different. They're different. I mean, you know, you have a seafood and you have the other one.
Well, you know what? I don't know who's going to be watching this video, but if you don't make this, then I don't even want to know you. This is the most amazing food. I can't even describe it.
Oh, so you like it?
Yeah, it'll do. Thank you so much.
What do you think, Deke?